Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Real Estate Conversations. I'm Zainab, your local realtor, and I'm joined by my friend and colleague from John Green Title, Ania.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me here again. And excited to talk about another topic.
All right. Today we are going to talk about title from a seller's angle, and I'm sure my friend Anya has some really good story to share about that topic.
Oh, absolutely. No transaction, not one transaction is the same. So there's always something to it. But as long as you have a great team behind you, we have your back. Here's one that comes to mind as a pretty interesting story to tell about title and to understand the bigger picture of how we actually matter during the transaction. So one time, um, we we were assisting with a sale of a condominium. Um, the original owner had passed away, and after probate, the ownership went to relatives. I believe they were brother and sister, and on paper it looked pretty simple. But the one important thing was that the brother was serving a prison sentence in another state. And while he was away, he managed to rack up over 5 years of delinquent taxes, court fees, and judgments, all of which at that point automatically attached as lien to the property that they inherited. Um, so when we started digging, it turned out in a pretty big financial obstacle course. And between the old mortgage, between the HOA dues, and every lien imaginable that applied to that property, we had to request about 17 different payoffs, track them down with collection agencies, you name it. It was definitely a scavenger hunt. Now, since the brother was incarcerated, we also had to find a notary willing to go into the facility to get signatures needed for the closing. By the end of this, also the sister had to bring a check to the closing table because the amount of all the liens added up was greater than the sales price of the property. And now imagine if she hadn't been able to cover these expenses, the entire sale would have fallen apart. And that's what title and your real estate attorney does behind the scenes. We don't just process the paperwork. What we do is we catch the problems early on, so this is not a surprise at the closing table. And we want to make sure that everything is ironed out beforehand. And so if we catch the problem early, they don't explode in the finish line. And this way, we can still close, hopefully on time, without delays or without having to cancel.
Wow, that was definitely a very interesting story and great explanation. And so, without the title and the legal team stepping in, this transaction possibly could have been delayed by weeks or would have never closed, right?
Correct, correct. And keep in mind that when a buyer walks into the property, they look at the condition of the house, looking at the location and such. But nobody really anticipates what else could have happened here in the past that could affect the transfer of the ownership. And this is when title and your legal team, having the right team behind you, is what really matters to make sure that we can get to the finish line with a positive outcome.
Thank you, Anya. And thanks everyone for joining us for Coffee and Real Estate Conversations. Until next time, happy house hunting. Bye.
Bye.